This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the ALPAKA Go Sling Nano, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So there are two main materials that you can get with this pack. We have the X-Pack version here, which is an X-Pack VX21. There is also an AxoFlux, which is a polyester that ALPAKA designed specifically for their line of gear. So just depending on, obviously the X-Pack is going to be a little bit lighter and you might get a bit more durability out of the AxoFlux. So just depends the look you're going for and also what you want out of your materials. This is really highly water resistant. We also have YKK AquaGuard zippers to add to that. So just depends what you're looking for. These zippers work really well additionally, so I really like these pulls that ALPAKA has been using. They kind of feel like Hypalon. I don't know exactly what they are, but they're definitely some kind of synthetic material. They're really easy to grab onto, and they have that stitching there that makes it easy to grab it even if it's like wet or something like that, because it'll get a little bit slippery when they're wet, but very quick to open and close when you need to. I should mention that this comes in, let me make sure I get these right, blue, sage gray, black, and army green at the time of writing. So maybe they'll add some more, not sure, but depending on what colorway you go with, that depends on what material you're gonna get. So make sure you check when you're clicking between the different colors, it'll tell you there as well. So the buckle here on the strap is a Maglox. This is another thing that I think is an ALPAKA exclusive. I'm not certain about that though. This is the only brand that I've seen Maglox stuff on. It is magnetic, so it slides like that. Takes a little while to get used to, in my personal opinion, but I've used them enough times that it's real easy to do. And I like that it's where it's placed, so while you're wearing it, it's never really where you don't want it to be. So if you got this on your front, it's gonna be right there. If you got it on your back, it's gonna be right here. So it's not gonna be super uncomfortable or anything like that, like underneath a backpack or anything like that. We've got these G-hooks here on the strap. So this basically can be used as a sling or as a pouch. And these G-hooks make it so you can remove the strap. They're pretty easy to navigate. If you haven't used a G-hook before, it kind of can be a bit tricky. You just kind of push down and then you unfeed that little metal clip there. And then if you're using it as a pouch and you don't have the strap on, you can either stow it inside, stow it somewhere else. But you could use these to attach this inside your pack, or just really, they don't get in your way, which is nice, but you can attach things to them if you wanted to, whether it be a carabiner strap, whatever. But again, they stay out of your way, which I really dig. But overall, I like the look of this thing. I've got it really packed out right now, so it looks a little bit, I don't know, chonky would be the right word. But overall, I really dig the look. I typically didn't have it this packed out, but I wanted to show you how much gear we can fit inside, so that's why it looks like this right now. So when it comes to the harness system, we don't really have any padding or aeration here on the back panel. I'm gonna slide this out. We're gonna talk about this later, so don't worry about that. But we do have some material. So this is the X-Pack version, but I believe this is, it's either a polyester or maybe it's the AxoFlux. I'm not certain on the back side here. So X-Pack and then just kind of a more standard material here on the back side. It does just have some inherent padding. So there's like 3 layers of it between this and the, maybe 4 layers of material between this and what's inside. So you do get a little bit of natural padding, but there's no dedicated padding and there's no mesh or anything like that. So it can get a little bit warm, but because this is such a small sling, it doesn't bother me so much because you can't put so much stuff in here to where it's going to be uncomfortable. If you were to put a bunch of like really pokey stuff in there, and maybe it's like jutting out into your back, or you put something weird in this pocket, maybe it's a little bit uncomfortable. But in my personal experience, and I've put a lot of very different things in here, from cameras to just like headphones and stuff, pretty comfortable, no real issues to report. The strap is pretty thin, which again, on a different pack might be an issue, but because you can't put a ton of stuff in here, it doesn't bother me. Obviously no padding, aeration, or anything like that. We do have a strap keeper here to make sure that the strap doesn't like separate like this, which would be very annoying if that was the case. But if you do load this thing up really heavy with like some tech or something like that, it can dig in a little bit if you're wearing a thin shirt, but even then I find this to be pretty comfortable. I think it does a pretty good job, especially for its size. So overall, a pretty comfortable carry as far as I'm concerned. So if you found this video helpful so far, make sure you subscribe to the channel and throw a like on this video so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. But as you can see now, I have it on my front. This is how I typically wore this sling while I was testing it. You can very easily transition it, make sure I don't hit the mic here too much, to the back side, and I find that to be pretty comfortable too. I just really like having access to my gear. I wear my slings a little bit tighter than most people. I know you might be thinking that already, but again, I just really like having access. And I have this thing pretty packed out now, as I've mentioned a few times, and it's not really digging in too much. This shirt isn't super thin, but again, I really don't feel that it's uncomfortable at all. So depending on your body size, you may find that it's just a little bit tight, but the strap does adjust pretty long. Let me show you here. Oh, that's the wrong way. You really can get a lot of length out of this thing if you want to. As you see, I had it on the tighter side there. I'm sure this is thrilling content for you guys, but as you can see, it gets very, very long. So you really can adjust it to fit how you want it to fit or to your body type. So the first secondary compartment that I'm going to go over is this little slide pocket that I briefly mentioned earlier. Got my wallet here. I like to slide that in there just when I'm going to like a store or something like that. I don't want to keep it in there all day because it is accessible. But it's nice to just know that your wallet's there and also have really quick access to it. Don't have to go through a zipper, don't have to reach into your pocket. You just grab it and you pay for whatever. But again, it is accessible, so I wouldn't leave it there all day. Another use is that if you're going through like the line at the airport, you need to have your passport, but you don't want to hold it or keep it in your pocket because maybe it'll get bent. You can just slide it in here, it'll fit, and then when you get to the front of the line, you can show it. So I really like additive features like this on bags, slings, whatever, that are helpful, but don't get in your way if you don't want to use them, and this really stays out of your way. It actually adds a bit of padding because there's 2 layers of material there. It's gonna add a little bit of weight too, but for a pack like this, I don't think it matters too much. So similar to these attachment loops, if you want to use them, great. If you don't, it's not gonna get in your way. So I really dig that. Moving on to this front compartment here, we have quick access to this because especially if you're wearing it on your front, you can kind of get to it. You have quick access to the main compartment too, but this one is just a little bit smaller, so you can put just a few things in there that you want to be able to get to quickly. So I've got my corded headphones here. When I travel, I like to bring 2 different pairs of headphones, my big over-ear ones and then the small ones, mostly because if those ones, the big ones break or die and I'm like out and about and can't charge them, I have a way to talk on the phone, listen to music, listen to podcasts, so I've got those stowed in there. Then we also have a key clip here. So this is a magnetic key clip and it pops, oh, I didn't even show you, it pops off from the top here. So if you pull from the bottom, as you saw there, and that's one of my main kind of issues with it, I think it might have hit my finger, but like it can pop off when you don't want it to. And I have the Chum Surf Shorts wallet, which you saw, so I don't have my keys on here anyway. But just in testing, I'm not in love with this design. I think it's very unique, but it can pop off when you don't want it to. Even like if like a piece of gear, like where like get there, it can pop off. And I'm being very nitpicky, and you're probably wondering like, what is this dude talking about? But just for, I don't know, for my personal use of a key clip, I don't love this design because I think it was only twice I opened this up and this was over here and this was over here, so it wasn't attached. And I don't know what happened in there, but it did happen. But I do like the idea of this, and I think that I'm almost throwing it away right now. I do like the idea of this, and I hope to see it improve further in future designs because I think it's a cool idea to not have to like get out your little screwdriver basically and take off your keys from a little tiny key clip. I know that's me being, again, nitpicky, but I've talked about this for too long, so it's time to move on to the main compartment. Hopping inside here, we've got, again, these YKK zippers do a really good job. As you can see, I have my over-ear headphones in here as well. So as I mentioned, I like to keep 2 of these with me on certain trips. Not every trip requires 2 pairs of headphones, but I also had those in there just to show you that you can fit larger pieces of gear in here. At this, I mean, if you just saw this, you wouldn't think, oh yeah, I'm gonna put a big pair of headphones in there, but they fit, and I also was able to fit my other like daily essentials too. So I do, if you've seen my other reviews, typically carry a bigger battery bank, but I can't fit that inside of here when I have those headphones in, at least not easily. I might be able to squeeze it, but just not in a way that I would want to. So it is small enough that you might have to pick and choose which gear you're bringing. But on this front side here, we have 2 mesh pockets. Kind of hard to show you that there, but I've just got my cables in one. Pull those out, 3 different cables there, USB-C to micro USB, USB-C, and Lightning. I'll still carry the micro USB because these headphones are micro USB. People often ask me why I still have that, and then I just have a simple charger that can charge my devices that I'm bringing with me. Typically I'll have 2 of these, sometimes just 1. This time it's just 1, but this was able to sit inside of here pretty easily and didn't come out. It's a pretty, I mean, it's not tiny, but it's a pretty small little thing, and it didn't come out and bounce around the main compartment, which I like. Then we have this big space here that was taken up by the headphones. And then on the back wall, I've just got my phone stowed in here, iPhone 11 with a pretty small case. But we do have a nice soft material here and an okay amount of padding here. Not, I mean, I guess I shouldn't really call it padding, just density between the 2 materials. So it seems wrong, but I don't know if I had that there when I just pulled it out, but when I was testing this most of the time, I had the glass facing that way because you do just have a lot of padding here compared to the little bit of padding that you have here. So it is nice to have that soft material on either side so you can face it either way to be able to stow your phone inside of here. And now that I have this out, I can show you. You could put your phone in there, just looks a bit goofy. It is quick access, which is nice if you'd like to have quick access to your phone. You could face it upwards if you want to be able to hear the sounds better. But I personally like putting my phone inside of here a bit better. So for such a small sling, I was pretty happy with how much gear I was able to fit inside of here. Can really fit everything that I need for the day, so long as I'm not doing like a specialized activity or something like that. And I think it looks really nice too. And because of the X-Pack materials on this one in particular, it's pretty waterproof. I shouldn't say waterproof, very highly water resistant. So it does a pretty good job no matter where you're going. And it's just pretty comfortable. So it comes down to what you're bringing and what you're gonna put in it. But overall, I like this thing. So there you have it, the ALPAKA Go Sling Nano. Thanks for keeping it here, Pack Hacker. Your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.